Gulliver in Lilliput. I attempted to rise, but was not able to move. I found that my arms and legs were strongly fastened to the ground. My hair, which was long and thick, was tied down in the same manner. Besides, I felt several strings all over my body. I could only look upwards. I heard a strange noise around me, but as I lay on my back, I could see nothing. In a little time I felt something alive, moving on my left leg. Advancing quietly forward over my body, it came almost up to my chin. Bending my eyes downward, as much as I could, I saw that it was a little man, hardly 6 inches high, with a bow and arrow in his hands. I felt at least 40 more men of the same kind following the first. I was greatly astonished and cried out so loudly that they all ran back in fear. Some of them, as I was afterwards told, were hurt in leaping from my sides to the ground. However, they soon returned. One of them, who ventured so far as to get a full view of my face, lifted up his hands and eyes in admiration, crying out in a loud and clear voice, "Hekina Degul!" The others repeated the same words several times, but I did not know what they meant. I lay all this while, as the reader may believe, in great uneasiness. At last, struggling to get loose, I was fortunate enough to break the strings and pull out the pegs that fastened my left arm to the ground. With a strong pull, which gave me great pain, I loosened a little the strings that tied down my hair on the left side, so that I was just able to turn my head about 2 inches. But the little men ran off a second time before I could catch them. There was a great cry when that happened, and after it had finished, I heard one of them cry aloud, "Tol go for Nak!" In an instant, I felt 100 arrows hit my left hand, which pricked me like so many needles. Besides, other arrows went into the air, falling on my body, and some on my face, which I immediately covered with my left hand. I was in great pain, and I tried to get loose. They attacked me again with arrows and spears. Luckily, I had on me a leather coat, which protected me. I thought it best to be still until I could free myself. As for the attackers, I believed that I could face the greatest armies they could bring against me if they were of the same size as the one I saw. But when the people observed that I was quiet, they stopped their attack. By the noise I heard, I knew their number had increased. About 4 yards from me, against my right ear, I heard a noise like that of people at work. Turning my head that way as much as the strings would permit me, I saw that a stage had been erected, about 1.5 feet from the ground. It held 4 of the men, who used a ladder to climb up to it. One of the men, who seemed to be an officer, made me a long speech from his stage, but I understood nothing. Before he spoke, he ordered about 50 of the men to cut the ropes that tied the side of my head, so that I was able to see what kind of a person he was and what he did. He was taller than any of the other 3, and seemed to be a little longer than my middle finger. He spoke angrily, and at times with kindness. I answered in a few words, promising to do whatever he ordered me. By that time, being extremely hungry, I showed that I wanted food by putting my finger frequently to my mouth. The orator understood me very well. He descended from the stage and commanded that several ladders be put against my side. 100 of the people climbed up the ladders and walked towards my mouth with baskets full of meat sent by the emperor. There were the shoulders and legs of several animals, but they were smaller than the wings of a small bird. I ate them 2 or 3 at a mouthful and took 3 loaves of bread at a time. They supplied me as quickly as they could, showing 1,000 marks of wonder and astonishment at my size and appetite. I then made another sign that I wanted a drink. They had found by my eating that a small quantity would not be enough for me. So they drew up one of their largest casks and rolled it towards my hand. I opened the top and drank off the small quantity of wine it contained. It was delicious. They brought me a second cask, which I drank in the same manner, and made signs for more, but they had none to give me. When I had performed these wonders, they shouted for joy and danced upon my body, repeating several times, as they did at first, Hekina Degul,